going to make this really fun little Valentine origami book. And you can use it, you can give a single section, you can put, I'm going to show you how to put 4 little pieces together to make this 3D sculpture. There's all kinds of ways you can use this. You can give it as a gift, you can hang it as a decoration. It's quick and easy. Let's get started. The materials are really simple for this project. Scissors, paper, a glue stick, a pencil can be helpful too. And then I made this little template. I'll show you how to do that. So the first thing you're going to need is paper. If you have origami paper, that's great. It comes square. If not, you can use construction paper, scrapbook paper. I took 2 of my patterns, my kind of Valentine's patterns, and printed them on just printer paper. I just, I did it double-sided, and I can show you why, but that's what I'm going to use. So let me show you the fold. We have 4 of these. I cut these, it can be any size square, but I cut these into 4 4-inch squares. And the fold is not hard, it's very easy. We're going to fold it in, the first fold's diagonal. I just find it easier to, I'm a little bit off here, but I think it's going to be okay. You can always go back and finesse that a little bit. The more precise you are, the easier it is to make it work. So then, if you've worked with origami, you know that sometimes you just go back and you refold it in the opposite direction. So I have my initial fold, and then, I made my initial diagonal fold, and then I worked it the other way too. That way, when we get to the next step, it'll be easier. So I've got my diagonal fold, and then I'm going to fold it in half twice. And it doesn't really matter which way you do first. You could actually do this fold and then fold it again. I'm going to open it up and fold it because I find it, and I'll fold it back too. I find it easier to get a really sharp crease when I go back and open it up, but whatever works for you is fine. Okay. So I made that first diagonal fold. I find it easier to do it this way, however it works for you. And you work it back and forth. You have to open it. So you make that fold, you open it back up, and then you make your other folds. And that's it. That's it. Those are the 3 folds that you need to make. So you end up with a diagonal and kind of a cross there. Let me do the other ones really quickly. So now we have our 4 pieces, and this is really a fun part. We're going to make the actual fold. You put your fingers along on the back side of this diagonal crease, and takes a little bit of finessing, but if you lift the diagonal fold toward itself, it should hinge into something like this. If you're having difficulty, you might need to go back and crease it again, but see how I have the diagonal fold right here? My fingers are behind it, and I just close it in, and I get something like this. All right, now we're going to do that 4 times. Well, 3, because we did 1. We have these 4 folded pieces, and you want to find on them this kind of the corner, that doesn't open. You've got this open end, and opposite is sort of this corner, and you have these 2 sort of hinge sides. Now this is where you turn this, I mean, you could make something with this, but this is how you turn it into a Valentine. Now, I made a template, and actually, I knew this would be a 2-inch square, so I just cut a 2-inch square out, folded it in half, and then cut a little Valentine shape. And this is cardstock, so that's really all I did. If you're just doing one section, you can kind of wing it, but if you want to glue these all together, it's really helpful to have some guides. So I've got my template down. This is the open, and this is sort of that point where everything comes together. And I'm just going to trace around my template. I'm using a white pencil. You can use whatever you want. And I'm tracing around the template as my guidelines. All right. Okay, then what I'm going to do is cut. I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to cut inside. You can do however you want, but I'm going to cut just inside this line. And sometimes it takes a little bit of finessing, especially because, you know, I kind of made the template just sort of freehand. But anyway, I guess I could kind of erase a little bit about that. But here is, isn't that fun? Here's one section. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do the other sections. I've folded all of these so this pattern is on the outside, but you can change direction too. You could actually have an every other if you wanted to do that. But when you glue it together, I'm sure you can imagine how that could be fun also. But for this particular one, I'm going to use the same pattern on the outside. Let me show you how you glue it all together. I put some newsprint down. I'm a big fan of having newsprint under my gluing. So I'm going to grab a section. As I said, you can always use one of these. Those are great as Valentines. But let's see how we put this all together. I'm going to put some glue, and I think I've mentioned I love the Oohoo glue sticks. Just glue on one side, and I've got the point here. At this point, you know, at this time, it's pretty easy to just put it together. So that's it. You just put glue and then connect the two. So that's where it's connected. You may find that you need to do a little trimming, or you may decide it doesn't really matter, or you may want to move it a little bit. Some of mine were cut a little more precisely than others, but I know you can use your imagination and you can decide what you want to do. So let me go ahead and add the other sections. Once they're all glued together, you simply just grab the ends and open it up, and it makes this fabulous shaped flower. Here's a little bonus on how to add a cord to hang it. Before you glue it, it is possible to do it after you glue it, but it's a lot easier to add this cord before you glue everything together. Figure out what you want. This is silk cord. I added some beads to it. I've knotted the end so the beads don't come off. And then I decided, okay, this is about how high I want it or how long I want it to hang. Then I'm going to go ahead and add glue. Actually, I can kind of fold this up. That's a whole lot easier, isn't it? Add glue to it. And then bring this around and match up. Now this is one I just made that is only one-sided, so you can see the difference. I originally thought this would slip easily. This maybe slips a little more easily than some of the others. You can always add an extra knot before you glue it together, but by gluing it first, it's a lot easier. This one I left blank so I could decorate or write messages in it. And to send it, all I have to do is to kind of flatten it. Thank you so much for joining me. I cannot wait to see what you create. You can tag me on Instagram at BetsyMittenStudio. Thanks again. Bye-bye.